This is Justice for Pauline 4. I'm going to continue where I left off from number 3. When my mother's body is exhumed, there will be no lactose or pain medication found in her body. Follow me on Twitter, and I will keep you updated on when an exhumation will occur. This is going to be very expensive to exhume the body. People, please help me. Now I'm going to go on to discuss the will. You want to listen to all of this because it is jaw-dropping. These actions on the will are really sick, especially when you consider the fact that they were done to an 87-year-old woman by Reverend and Paula Dunn Brown. Now, the United States sees 2 million cases of documented elder abuse every year. People, that's just a fraction of the actual elder abuse that takes place in this country. My mother's case of elder abuse was not documented. There are different types of elder abuse. Some of those are neglect, some financial, like my mother's, and some physical, like my mother's. Since my mother was deliberately isolated on one of these tapes, she told me she had no access to a phone and she could not make or receive phone calls from her friends. So I don't know if she was physically abused. I do know that that there was deliberate neglect of her medical care. I do know that her will was changed without her knowledge so that the Browns could steal her estate. I do know that her safety deposit box was emptied of $140,000. On September 4th, 1974, my mother signed this will right here. This is the one that my mother signed on September 4th. On September 4th, you can see it right there, 1974. Okay? She was 54 years old at the time. She had not thought about changing her will for 34 years. It seemed that changing her will was the only thing on her mind when she arrived at my sister's home. Just 8 days after my mother had arrived at my sister's home, my mother's will was changed to leave to my sister the bulk of her estate. Let me read you some of the 2 wills. Okay, right here, my mother says, okay, on the first will, she says, I give, devise, and bequeath all of my property of every kind and character, real, personal, and mixed, to my beloved children, Paula Yvonne Dunn and James Williams Dunn, to share and share alike in fee simple. Okay? Now, let's look at the will made up by Lorenzo Brown and Paula Dunn Brown. On the second page, and this is important because this comprises the bulk of the will. I give, devise, and bequeath my real estate located at 3635 Blue Ridge Boulevard, Dallas, Texas, Dallas County, Texas, to my daughter, Paula Dunn Brown. Oh, it's like she has no son. It's like she has no son. You see where it says that my beloved children, Paula Yvonne Dunn and James Williams Dunn, share and share alike in fee simple in the original will? Well, in the will that was published 8 days after my mother arrived at my sister's home, all of a sudden, under disposition of estate, it says Section A, I give, devise, and bequeath my real estate located at 3635 Blue Ridge Boulevard, Dallas, Texas, to my daughter, Paula Dunn Brown. No mention of me. People, that was not my mother's desire any more than it was my mother's desire to cancel my auto insurance. You see, my mother and I were very close. I took her shopping on Saturdays and spent a whole lot of money on her. I cooked for her every day. She picked up lunch for us every day when we worked at the school. When my Pontiac Firebird turned over and died, I went to CarMax to get me a red Honda S2000 with khaki interior. Everyone who knew me knew that I wanted an S2000 in the colors of my first car, which was a Triumph TR6. I wanted either an S2000 or a Pontiac Solstice in red with khaki interior. I came home that evening in a Cadillac STS. It was 3 years old, but it looked brand new. Why did I get a CTS? Not an STS, a CTS. I got that car to give to my mom. My mom, who was 86 years old at the time, wanted a Cadillac. My father had left her with a Dodge Intrepid, and she had gotten used to Cadillac since having a Coupe de Ville. Knowing that she might not have a lot of time left because of her age, I got her the Cadillac for $19,000 to be paid out over 6 years. I was not a rich man. I took her old Dodge Intrepid. Let's just say that my mom was super happy to have another Cadillac. After her terminal diagnosis in April, my mother came home from the hospital. She asked that my dog and I sleep with her and watch movies every night. And we did. To some, it might seem strange request to sleep in my mother's great big king-size bed, but I wanted to do whatever made her happy. Because we were so close, it didn't seem strange to me. We laid in the bed and watched movies, ate popcorn, told stories. And I have a problem with the fact that this woman changed so much just 8 days after she left her own house. She was canceling insurance without calling me? Yeah, right. And cutting me out of her will? But of course, we know she didn't cancel anything, nor did she cut me out of her will. Don't you believe she ever did? Cutting me out of her will was a pure product of Paula Dunn Brown's will. That was her will, not my mother's will be done. Let's examine the second will a little more and the attorney who wrote it. Look on the first line. It says, now this is the one written by Lorenzo Brown. It says, I, Pauline Dunn, of the County of Dallas and of the State of Texas, being in good health, of sound of sound and dispensing mind and memory, do make and declare this instrument to be my last will and testament. Okay. Now let's pick this thing apart. You see where it says in good health? Well, how can a person be diagnosed with terminal cancer 2 months earlier and be in good health? I'll bet you a lot of people laying in the hospital dying right now would like to get that one. The attorney who wrote the will for her knew she was not in good health because he gave a party for her at Papa Do's restaurant so the A.W. Brown school board members could say goodbye. Lorenzo Brown knew that she was not in good health, or he never would have thrown a goodbye you're gonna die party. People, what the law calls is my mother's will is a false instrument. It's a felony to file a false instrument. That fact is proved by Lorenzo Brown saying that she was in good health. So I'm going to give you you're going to die of terminal cancer party. My mother had been diagnosed in mid-April. Everybody at the school knew that she had terminal cancer, both employees and parents. So where was the good health? I plan to see to it that this will is declared a false will and that the law proceeds against the attorney and anyone else involved in its composition. I need your help to do so. I want to see Lorenzo Brown disbarred. I really do. And I want you to think about this. What kind of daughter would take the time to change her mother's will so that she, the daughter, gets almost everything. Leave her 87-year-old mother, who is dying of terminal cancer, with only Tylenol for medication, and purchases a Mercedes CLS 550 with your tax money. On the same day that I find out, my mother tells me, "Baby, I came out here and wrote that check and I ain't got no money." So I decided to let my medicine go. What part of evil, greedy, satanic, you know this is nothing but satanic, could lead someone to treat an 87-year-old so cruelly? Satan, people, you need to help me stop it. Please, please, please help me. Now, with this fake will, they're trying to throw me out of the house that I paid for my parents. The courts want me gone now. Help me stay in my house, people. Please help me. I must have $5,000 by January 19th. I need your help. Now, that's the end of point 2. Now I'm going to go to point 3 about how Mrs. Brown conspired to ruin my career when I found the school cheating on state tests. This discovery led to the attempt to take my home right now. They've been after me ever since I discovered that. They have hated me. That's right. These greedy elder abusers are trying to make me homeless. Right now, listen to point 3 to find out how. I'm going to end there and come back on Justice for Pauline, number 5.